I found her to be asking questions which were not common questions, because in the field that we are in, artists have to do a lot of interviews, and it was with every question she asked I had to pause and think, and my response is quite quick because I'm used to the questions, but with her questions I had to think, and she made me suddenly reflect on my own process, and I had to go back and dig quite deep into my previous work, to think about what is it that happened. And because she asked that question, and the way she asked it also, I thought it would be fantastic for me to have a wonderful writer as her, who is also, the other reason that there's another reason I never used, it's not like other people haven't approached me to write a book but the reason I really found her to be the right one is because she also has training in dance, physically. She has trained physically in Indian classical dance form, and she's curious about physical theatre. That's really her, and physical theatre is something that is physical, but it's also theatrical, which was interesting because a lot of my earlier work was quite abstracted, let's say. It had an abstractness to it, but for me, there was always a narrative. So the fact that she felt there was also a narrative, even in my work that had this sense of abstractness, I feel kind of nervous and apprehensive. No, apprehensive is not the right word. Nervous, because it's very new for me. This whole thing about this scholarship and book being written about the process, because you see, I can always lie. So I can do an interview and say about one process, and then I can change. If I didn't like what I said, I could always change it later, and people won't know if the process which version of the process is the truth, because they were not there in the process. With Royona's book, I can't do that anymore, so I have to reread it and reread it so I don't mess up, because I can't change my version anymore. So I think that's why I'm nervous. No, but in all seriousness, I'm being very funny about it. But I have a wonderful instinct about her. So, and her. If I have a wonderful instinct about a person, I have also the same instinct about how they write. If there's anything I've learned from, let's say, collaborating with her, I would say that I've learned a lot about myself and about my own process, and that's invaluable. And I really thank her for being patient, and I thank her family for being patient. And as I said, what I learned, the most valuable thing for me was to re-experience my own process, but it's going through a very special filter, and she is the filter. So it's like, the water that you drink from the tap in London, and then we have this filter machine, and when it comes out, it's pure. So the tap water is me speaking about the process, so it's mixed with a lot of crap, and then she purifies it, and somehow when I read it, it was very what was interesting is that as I was reading it, I was learning what not to do in my own process. And if that wasn't in front of me, maybe I wouldn't have gone back in my memory, wouldn't have gone back into the process so willingly. And that's really important for my next process, to see where in order to know where you want to go, you have to know where you've been. And if anything, she's really filtered out and focused on where the process has been.